This comes from a student in one of my Demon Live classes. I definitely got a chuckle when I read this email the first time. She is very agitated at the LSAC's digital forum. Her subject line said, LSAC's digital forum, I give you a 135. Room for improvement. She means 135, like on the 120 to 180 LSAT scale.
Yeah.
She's calling their digital forum a 135.
That's not good.
All right. No, that is not good. That's fighting words. All right. Dear Ben and Nathan, I just finished up with LSAC's first, quote, digital law school forum, and yes, all caps on the yes, it is about as much of a clusterfuck as one might assume. If you don't know what it is, LSAC put together, quote, over 200 schools, exclamation point, so that students can visit schools and ask questions on an online interface because of current travel restrictions. So they used to do these forums across the country where suited up law school admissions folk would be sitting behind a table with like one of those drapes over it, you know, with the name of their law school, and then a bunch of glossy brochures and a clipboard and maybe some candy. And if they were getting really creative with their marketing, they might let you spin the wheel or something to win a prize or what, who knows, whatever. These forums used to have all of the law schools and you could go talk to people from the schools. So they've now moved that online, which by the way is better, except it is objectively better, except of course the LSAC is going to fuck it up how they do it. The execution of course is not going to be better, but she continues. I'll set the scene. You click into the forum on LSAC's website or through one of the 100 schools that mass emailed you in the last 24 hours and are greeted with a digital convention hall. She misuses the word assimilate here. She says, I assimilate it to playing Pokemon or any video game with a shopping experience. She doesn't mean assimilate there. She means like analogize or compare. So are you picturing it, Ben? You load up the website and you actually see an image of a convention hall. Like
it's so bad. You know, it's like Microsoft Teams came out with this thing where you can like see people sitting in an audience. I was like, I don't care.
It's just shocking, Ben, how stuck in the past people are. It really tells you something about like how our brains work, right? Like it's just this how paradigmatic thinking works. You know, and now it's reminding me of like Major League Baseball. You know, they're playing right now. They actually flew around to play baseball in giant empty stadiums.
Yeah.
They could have played at a high school baseball field. They didn't need to be playing in gigantic stadiums. They could have played on any field. They weren't going to have fans. No. Instead, what they did is they went to Dodger fucking Stadium with 55,000 people, 55,000 empty seats, and then started putting cardboard cutouts of people in the seats and pumping in fake crowd noise.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's just like they can only think about it in one way, and so they have to make it as close to that as they can possibly. LSAC.
What's with the I kind of get the noise, like maybe the players feel like it's just so lonely, like they don't feel the people watching them, but cardboard cutouts, no one's seeing right through that. You're looking up and being like,
only baseball did that. Yeah. They also sold you the right, Ben. You know, if you're a Dodger fan, you could, if you're so upset that you're not allowed to pay $500 to take your family to the Dodger game, they're charging like, oh, for $100 you can have a cutout of yourself, a cardboard cutout of yourself in the stadium. Anyway, LSAC, they think that this is by the way some web design shit from 1990,
Yeah.
right? Where it's like, oh, you're shopping? Okay, welcome to our digital shopping mall. And it's like a
Yeah.
picture of a mall.
Yeah. And you like click on the like
Like
logo and it like
what if
takes you
Amazon,
into
can you
the
imagine,
room.
if Amazon had like aisles, or if like Amazon was like a mall, like you have to first find a parking spot and then get into the entrance and go
I
past the
can't
food
find the
court.
damn Tylenol on this row. It's like hidden amongst all these other
Oh, don't
medicines.
worry, we have digital virtual shopping helpers. Someone wearing like a blue vest, and you're like, excuse me, could you point me to the Tylenol? um sounds like that's what LSAC is doing here with this forum.
Mhm.
um okay, so you click on a colored room to a group of schools like Orange Exhibit Hall. So they're so stuck in this way of thinking where, oh, well, normally we had like this conference room and that conference room and this conference room, and so we'll just make it like that. They're like, Ben, they're doing extra work. They're going out of their way to make
To
it
make this. Yeah.
worse, to make it clearly more clunky. Like, oh, what school? Wait a minute. Is Georgetown in the green conference exhibit hall or the orange?
Oh, you mean I can't search for them? Like I have to go what
No, Ben,
what
because
schools are
people
in this
want the
hall?
real convention experience.
I wonder if some schools are like, no one's gonna search for us, so you got to put us into a hall next to Stanford. That's how it was
Oh, you know what else it
in
could
real
be?
life.
Yeah, and that like preferential treatment, like that type of shit, where you're like,
Mm,
you're
paying more.
mobbed up with the LSAC, like wink, wink, put us by the entrance, like that type of thing. I wonder if that that could be going on here too. Like
Well,
they
we
had to
don't have an
preserve.
entrance. No, no, we'll create one.
No, we will. Don't worry. We will preserve our grafting opportunities. Don't worry. Um, with this is total speculation, by the way. We're
Yeah.
totally full of shit right here. But okay. You click on a colored room to a group of schools like Orange Exhibit Hall, and then you have these clunky literal pictures of booths and people for each school. So, so they have photographs of a booth. They're like, no, we have to have booths. Booths are a critical part of the experience.
Not realizing that booths themselves were created to serve a function in the context of that environment.
In a physical space, in a
Yeah.
hotel conference room where no one
It's
wants to
not
be, you
it's
have a
not the
booth.
end.
It's making like a little nest for yourself in the middle of this cavernous conference room. But instead, yeah, they think it's the goal is to have you got to have a booth. We could have set this up for them, Ben, in 30 fucking seconds in Zoom with breakout rooms. We would have made a vastly better experience than this.
Yeah.
So now she's clicking through, trying to find the right conference hall. Then to find the right school, you have to actually look at a digital picture of, of people standing at a booth. However, she continues, all the info they have is exactly what is on their website. Which, by the way, at the actual physical forums, that was the case then too. That's why the forums are stupid.
Yeah.
Because if you really want to learn about a school, their website is a much better place to learn about them than wandering around a conference
So you
hall.
could search for them in this forum, or you could just Google.
Yeah, which I imagine Google has, is slightly better probably in the search functionality. Really, she says, the most valuable part is connecting to individual admissions staff. So you click the chat link, and all the tabs in the browser freeze. So again, you go back to the forum portal, sign in, etc. You click the chat button again, and that brings you to a new tab with a spiraling blue circle. As the chat boxes appear, you find you can talk to any individual school and private message individual offers, but, all caps, your chat doesn't work. You sit there toggling through each tab, watching people converse while you can do nothing. Oh, but don't refresh your browser because that will freeze everything. Finally, 2 hours later, and messages for LSAC asking for our patience, the chat function seems to be working. And honestly, it was incredibly useful speaking to schools. You get a great sense of who they are, what they care about, and how personal they will be with you if you spend the time. I want to have a caveat about that. I'll make a warning about that, but I'll come back to it.
Yeah.
The moments I had with admissions staff gave me a great sense of what schools I am more or less interested in and opened my eyes to some I might not have applied for. But don't click away from this chat room, because as soon as it tries to refresh, it will delete half your conversations and you will be stuck, unable to respond. LSAC has a few more of these forums this year, and although it took up 4 hours of my Saturday, I would recommend spending the time asking the questions. Gather a list of items for each school that are important to you first and expect problems. I mean, hey, it's LSAC. What do you expect? That's the email from a tired but informed student. I have 2 things I want to say.
Yeah.
First, don't go to these stupid forums. Just reach out to the schools individually. They'll be happy to talk to you on Zoom. If they're not happy to talk to you on Zoom, then they're idiots and you don't want to go to their stupid school. I mean, the best schools, we've already heard months ago, Ben, we had schools doing informational interviews and stuff on Zoom.
Yeah.
If you,
it's easy.
Email them, call them up, tell them you want to chat. If they're not willing to take the time to talk to you, then that tells you all you need to know.
Plus, if you do a chat in Zoom, one, it's not going to freeze on you. You're not going to have any problems communicating with them. And you're also going to be able to see them face to face. I think that reveals something too. I mean, it's just some random person, but do they seem happy working there?
I assume that that's how this worked at the forum as well. She didn't specifically say, but I think that when they connected you to the,
you actually saw them?
Just chat. It couldn't have been just text.
Sounds like chat, but
if so, then definitely don't go to these stupid things. But I think she was getting connected to the actual people face to face. But yes,
wow.
Zoom
so they reinvented
better.
Zoom for the fakes for this forum.
Would you expect anything less?
I don't understand why they invest their time in reinventing the wheel for this, but not for the freaking LSAT, which is their job. Their job is to create a computer adaptive test and have it proctored. I think they should bring it all in house, and they don't do it. It's just, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Reach out to the schools on your own. If you need ideas, brainstorming because it sounds like she ended up talking to schools that she never thought she would have talked to. I think you could use the Demon Scholarship Calculator. That's lsatdemon.com/scholarships. That might give you a good sense of some schools that you hadn't thought of that you should talk to.
Yeah.
I think there's other ways to brainstorm for lists of schools. And then you just send out a mass email and say, hey, I want to talk to you. And if they can't get their shit together to talk to you on Zoom, then they're just dumb. I got to warn against one of the things that she seems to be doing here. She says you get a great sense of who they are, what they care about, and how personal they will be with you if you spend the time. The moments I had with admissions staff gave me a great sense of what schools I am more or less interested in and opened my eyes to some I might not have applied for. I think she's making a tragic mistake there.
She's getting sold.
She's talking to salespeople.
Yeah.
And she thinks that those salespeople have anything to do with the actual product.
Sure.
It's like she called up the Ford dealer or had a Zoom with the Ford dealership, didn't drive the car, but the person is talking to her about the features and benefits of the car, but the person is being super like friendly to her. And
Yeah.
so then she's like thinking that a Ford would be good for her. And I'm sorry, but admissions folk, they are salespeople. Their job is to sell you. They are selling an extremely expensive product, so they tend to be pretty damn good at selling.
At the
The
end of the
fact that
day,
an admissions person was nice to you, you are never going to talk to that admissions person once you're enrolled.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyways, at the end of the day, they're going to look at your numbers primarily to make a decision as to whether or not they accept you. You should do the same. You should look at their numbers. How much money are they going to give you? And make that your primary decision for whether or not you accept their offer.
All law schools are almost identical. There is not really a big difference. You're 1L year. You're going to take exactly the same classes using exactly the same books. It going around to these forums or even doing what we recommend, which is just Zoom with the schools. You can talk to them. You can learn about, maybe like learn about their city or something like that. Like that's a real difference. But they're going to bullshit you about their clinics and special programs and, oh, you can focus in space law if you go to our school. And it's like, all of that is just marketing garbage. And just be real careful. I know some, when we used to go around to these forums, I know some of law school admissions people, and they're like really nice and friendly, but that's their job, to be really nice and friendly. And that has nothing to do with the culture of their school. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank you, whoever wrote that in.
tired but informed student.